Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the townships, you know, those people that make laws and regulations that affect you out there.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you elected, and the committees and the commissions that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that really important meeting or not. So don't be surprised if your taxes go up.
Yeah, and they're all pretty important, actually, when it comes down to it. Because there's things that happen that, unless you're there, you can miss it. And there's a lot of humor involved when you miss it, which we get involved in, don't we?
That's right. And like cream, it goes to the top.
Yep. And
like
other things also go to the
rocket
top.
goes to the bottom.
It does. Other things that go to the top is called rumors, because we do establish rumors. It's up to you to determine, you know, what's real and what's rumor.
Yeah, sometimes we tell the truth.
Well, at least one of us does. Anyway, let's talk about some of the meetings that went on, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. You folks that don't attend the meetings, you can pretty much digest what we talk about in Minutes by Minutes. One of those meetings was the Oxford Downtown Development Association meeting, which was held April 17th.
And what's the Reader's Digest version of that, sir?
I don't know. We'll explore that one, won't we? Addison Township Board meeting also was held, and that was April 17th as well. And if we get a chance, we're going to talk about the Pollyann Trail meeting, and that was held the 19th. So let's get on with it, shall we?
Shall we?
All right. Oxford Downtown Development Association, and that would be Sue Bassarded as chairperson. She's also the president of the village council. Mm-hmm. Sam Barna, he serves on this board.
And the Oxford Area Cable Commission.
Yes, yeah, some other things too. She's pretty active, you know, in the community. Does a pretty good job as the president, you know, of the village council, but she's very much involved. Sam Barna serves on this board. He's with the school system, of course, administrator. Rod Charles, everybody knows Rod in the Lone Ranger system, and promotions that he does. Great promoter out there for the community, Rod. Dorothy Johnston, and she's a business person in town that does great photographs.
Photography, yeah.
And Gino Malia, and let me see, Pete Schultz serves on. He's the
Fire chief.
Fire chief, yeah. Puts out fires all over town, wherever.
Well, they got all the bases covered there, don't they?
Right. Susan Schur also serves on this board, and she was put in as, she's a secretary, and they were looking for somebody to actually do the recording. And Joe Young used to do the recording for all the DDA meetings in the past, but of course he now is the village manager for Lake Orion Village.
That's right.
Yep. So anyway, so they were looking for somebody that would do the recording, and they said, well, let me see, who the secretary? Secretary is Susan Schur. Susan, would you record this?
Was that another, was she already on the board?
She's already on the board.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
All right.
But she wasn't doing the recording as a secretary.
Okay.
But I think they agreed also to pay her a stipend of $20 per meeting if she would record. So, and there was Joe Young's opportunity. He should have hit him for additional cash before he left. That didn't happen. But anyway, Regina Woodson also is a treasurer, and she's a business person with AAA downtown. For insurance reasons, you might want to check and see what her rates are, and you know, a local person, and she keeps good eye on the numbers.
So let's open up the hood on this thing and see what happened.
Yeah, let's open up the hood. So they did the Pledge of Allegiance, of course, which is a normal practice. Then the chairperson, Sue Bassarded, did a report, and she brought up that concerts in the park will commence on June 15th and end on August 24th of this year. And however, there wasn't a slate of musicians or talent that was going to perform provided to me at that time or to the board. So that will be coming as we roll along here. Maybe by the next meeting that we talk about. Huh?
Could be June 15th.
Could be June 15th. I would think, yeah, if we wait as long as we do for the handbook for the Communications Commission, could be a little while. That's
Well,
getting a running joke
I think a
here,
lot of
but-
that depends on how quickly they select a new director.
Yes, and that they're actively searching, you know, for a new director for Downtown Development Association. And I understand they have roughly about 12 applicants at this point. There is a committee set up to interview and also review the resumes at this point, and 3 people will be selected in which the whole board will interview at a given point in the future.
And they'll probably have to hit the ground running really fast.
Oh, I think so. There's a lot of things that be involved. Of course, we're talking
Summer is prime time.
yeah, but we're also talking about what's going on in terms of streetscape in downtown.
Well, that's true.
And the M24 Special Task Force. That person would get deeply involved in what's going on there as well, because we want to make sure everything is taken care of before the year 2019 when they start tearing up the road, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Don't worry, there's no stress.
No stress at all. No stress. If these 12 people only knew. Maybe not. But anyway, so Susan did talk about the concerts in the park, just briefly as far as the dates. She reported on MDOT that they did meet with MDOT not long ago with a committee. Normally Dorothy Johnston is involved in that meeting, and Pete Schultz and Joe Frost, who actually lives in the village, even though he works for the Oakland County now, is involved in this as well. And Joe Young was, but I don't know who will be filling that slot down the line. Depends on who they get as a new manager.
Right.
You know, and I understand there isn't a lot of resumes coming in for that yet. So that's a real issue. And I think they're kind of under the gun because the clerk actually is going to be leaving too.
Well, that's right. I think they formed sort of a team centered around the clerk.
They have. And I got to say this, that Susan Nasser is filling in the gap very well, along with her staff,
Right.
you know, for the village. So, and she's working hard so that you folks won't have any disruption in administrative services, you know, from the village. Doing a good job.
But the sooner the better.
Yeah, and I think she can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully it's not a freight train, and at which time she'll be able to retire. But there's a lot of work to be done between now
I don't think Sue
and
will
then.
retire.
You don't think Susan will?
Well, not in a general sense.
Not probably
she'll
with the
find
village,
something else
maybe,
to
but
do,
maybe she's from Brandon Township, so
Right.
she may very well take up a
I think
position
she worked
there.
with the clerk's office in Groveland at one time.
She did. She's well-rounded, and
Yeah.
you know, I think she's got a good grip on financial.
As they say, she has her ducks in a row.
She has all the quackers. Yep. They're all there. So anyway, they did talk about the treasurer's report, and the treasurer's report was for $6,393 in bills and 4 cents. So if you want to chip in that 4 cents, that's fine. We'd appreciate that.
So much for rounding.
So much for rounding, yep. Let me see. Reviewed the police chief's report. Officer Solwald is the acting police chief.
Right,
And-
and they're searching for a new one there too, aren't
Well,
they?
hopefully they're going to go with Mike Solwald because he has a great reputation in the community.
true,
and
but they still have to go through the formalities.
they have to go through the process, yes.
Yeah.
But I think we're a little prejudiced in that direction, to some degree. Why would you be?
Those
I mean,
other
the guy's
guys are going to
been-
go, what am I doing here?
But the guy has been, quite out front, in the community and been very active.
He's
and
very well respected.
very well respected, and that's the point. So, personally, my own opinion is that he should be the police chief, but we'll have to see what the village council decides to do. You never know.
You
do
never know.
And speaking about never know, we'll talk to you more about that when we come back right after this, folks.
Canine Stray Rescue is Oxford's own local dog rescue. Each year they take in hundreds of dogs and bring them into suitable homes. A certified nonprofit organization, Canine Dog Rescue strives to give pound dogs a new leash on life. To donate, adopt, or even volunteer, call them at 248-628-0435 or go to their website, dogsaver.org, and click on the Canine Stray Rescue League link.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about the Downtown Development Association. And let me see, we're talking about the police
Authority.
report. Authority. Close enough. I
Authority.
stand corrected.
Authority.
Authority. We stand corrected. We could change the name, though. That could be a rumor.
We just did.
I'll change it back again. Okay, be with it. You know what we're talking about, the DDA, Downtown Development. And we were talking about the police report and Chief Sowell. Interesting enough, the bulk of the citations given out on Glaspie Street, there were 24 given out during the month of March. And on Lakeville Road, there's 37. And get this.
How about M24?
Well, that one we didn't get into. Actually, it was less than West Burdick Street, which was
Really?
81.
81.
Watch out for Burdick Street. That's all I can say. West Burdick.
They must pull them over in groups of 10.
Yeah, they could do that. West Burdick Street, of course, is where the Cemetery Hill is.
Oh, that's
I got
true.
a feeling people are speeding up and down that hill, and you want to be careful of that. There is a Pollyant Trail that runs through there too. So, there is a new blinking light there.
I am Mr. 25 miles an hour going down that hill.
Do you see the twinkle light they have there now? For
Pollyant Trail.
pedestrians on Pollyant Trail? It's a twinkle
What do
light.
you mean now? They've had that for a few
No,
years.
I thought it was just a stoplight
Oh, no.
that they had before. Was it a twinkle light?
What do you mean twinkle?
It twinkles.
Oh, well.
You go to it. Okay. Check
I
it
don't
out,
know.
folks, when next time you go. If there's
What does the twinkling mean?
It means there's pedestrians, and be careful.
Oh.
If you hear a thump, not a good sign. Right. So
Don't
slow
back
down
up
when you
after
get to the
that.
Pollyant Trail. Anyway, let me see. What else do we have? Oh, yes. I want to mention here that Lake Orion's going to have a cruise, which is July 3rd, with an old paddle wheeler.
Oh, yeah.
And you can sign up for that. And there's
There's a
room-
dinner on that, too.
There is. And you can sign up. There's seats for 140 people. So,
paddle wheeler.
Yeah, paddle wheeler. So that'll be a fun thing. So look forward to that. That again is July 3rd. And DDA wanted to make all you folks aware that there's an opportunity. They spend I think there's about 4 hours on the lake, something along that line. Have you ever gone?
No. Every year my wife and I say, that'd be a great thing to do. And by the time we get around to really making a commitment, we go, oh, it's done.
Your boat has sailed.
Boat is sailed.
All right.
Trains pulled out, whatever.
Let me see. That pretty much does it for the DDA. Let's now talk about the next meeting, and that would be Addison Township board meeting. And of course, Bruce Pearson is the supervisor of the township, and he heads up that group of real happy and joyful people out there that live in the Never Land, where all the bears and the porcupines and all the good stuff lie.
You've been reading those fairy
Right,
tales
I
again.
have. Pauline Bennett, of course, is the clerk and does a great job over there as well. Lori Fisher is the treasurer and keeps tabs on the money for them. And Jacob Newby is the newest guy, and they call him Newby.
Just a coincidence.
Right, he was just elected a new trustee, and he's kind of sit back and see what's going on type of person. But he's a pretty knowledgeable kid, too. I call him a kid.
I actually found out that he's been appointed as an alternate for the Oxford Cable Commission.
He
too.
has, yep. You're going to like him. He's got a great personality, I think. Addison Township, I think they got somebody that they can actually groom, to fit the position.
Someday this will all be yours.
Yeah.
No.
And talking to him, he actually has an interest in getting into politics.
Oh, sure.
And who knows? Could be governor. We could be invited to the governor's mansion.
We knew him when.
Someday. We knew him when. I told him, don't forget the little people. He said he wouldn't. Linda Garrick, she serves on that board as trustee. And, of course, Eric Sent. And by the way, I got a great deal of respect for Eric. Very knowledgeable guy. He serves on some other committees with me. And he's very electronic oriented as well, technology-wise. So, pretty sharp guy.
Well,
anyway,
you've got a kindred spirit.
Kindred spirit. And that pretty much fills that board. They did the pledge, of course, and directly after they did prayer, which is good. Minutes, read the minutes for March 2017, and it was approved immediately. And they had some announcements, and one of the announcements was spring cleanup. So keep tabs on it over there in Addison Township. Should be posted, the spring cleanup. Roll up your sleeves, get over there and help them out. And they make the town look great.
When is that?
You know what? I knew you were going to ask that question. That's one thing I left out. That's why. Give me a date.
I saw the door. I walked
Give me
in.
any kind of date. Yeah, we're going to say the date was August 20th. I don't know. That could be a rumor.
Spin that wheel.
Spread the rumor, yep. Okay, so anyway, Special Assessment District, SAD came up, and that would be for, let me see, Ballantyne
Special
Birch Street,
Assessment
yep,
District?
Birch Grove and Birch Grove Court. And
For
that's for
chloriding.
Plowing, grading, moving the dirt back on the road from the side of the road, picking out the small pebbles and putting the big ones in. I don't know what they do, but anyway, also chloride. And this particular SAD, Special Assessment District, would be for 5 years, and it's $400 per property is the levy on this, or the charge. And let me see, 5% of that fee would go for a collection fee for the township, because they have to go around and knock on the doors and say, hey, remember, we got to do this salt, and you're part of this, so you have to pay, and they get the door slammed on them. So then they have to call the police. And anyway, that's a long story, isn't it?
And we'll shovel it all in your driveway.
Shovel it all in their driveway, yep. So anyway, so that was pretty much approved. This, I think, was the first of 2 public hearings that they're going to have, and the first public hearing was approved to go forward. But before it was approved, they said, hey, is there anybody out there that disagrees with this? Nobody spoke up. So then it was approved and went forward. So, good move. Resolution for SAD was approved.
And then they opened the doors?
And then they opened the doors. Unlocked the doors, let the people in. No, the people were there.
I know.
They actually had pretty good audience, for this meeting. Technology service was the next thing, an agreement, and they were looking for somebody for computers because theirs is pretty much outdated at the township level. And they interviewed a company called CNET Systems Incorporated and another company called IT Right Incorporated. And Paul Trenton spoke for the IT company. And just getting back to the CNET System Incorporated, questions were such as how long is it going to take for a total installation? He said about 2 weeks, roughly, as far as time.
Is it top to bottom thing?
Well, they would do most of their updates at nighttime, nothing on weekends unless they wanted to pay extra in order to do it. 24 hours total downtime is what could be expected. And they asked the question, I think Pauline Bennett asked the question, how long does this equipment normally last? And he said you want to replace it usually 3 to 5 years. That's the length of expectancy of electronic equipment this day and age. So, interesting, isn't it?
Except that old brick that I have at home.
The old brick, yeah. But the old brick still works.
You betcha.
All right, keep that brick rolling. Okay. And he said roughly it runs $3,000 to $5,000 for the service contract if they were to go with a service contract on this. And the next company, IT Right Incorporated, which is Paul Trenton, the speaker. And by the way, both these are going to be Windows 10. So it's an advanced system. They didn't go with Windows 7 or any of those. Windows 10, they said, is the way to go.
Do they still offer Windows 7?
You still get it with Windows 7 if you want it.
No.
But not advised, actually. Windows 10 is the route to go, as they point out. And also, their computers would be SSDs, rather than mechanical drives, internal.
They're like giant flash drives, folks.
They are. And they have like 1 and 2 terabyte units now.
Wow.
In the SSD series.
What you'll notice is they read and they write a lot faster.
10 times faster, roughly, is what you're looking at.
And you'll never hear a bearing wear out.
Yeah. And certainly
or a head crash.
There's very, very few mechanical issues to be involved because there's nothing mechanical there.
Right.
So it is a wave of the future for you folks that don't understand technology for computers. SSD eventually will be the norm, I think, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so anyway, they said, well, how many employees do you have in your company? And he said, well, with IT, we have 12, roughly, employees, and we have 545 customers as a rule. So they stretch out quite a distance. Oh. And they said that they have
Not their first rodeo.
Yeah, no. They said the 1-year proposal would include, for example, if you had an issue on the computer, you'd contact them via phone and they'd walk you through it. But under the expanded contract, they would provide 2-hour service, response. So, with a technician. So if you were down as a township, you need to have as quick a response as you can get. So that's
and often an IT person can remotely take control of a computer and fix problems in If that doesn't work, then you need to send a guy.
Absolutely. Well, when it came down to the wire, they chose to go with the IT company, and the cost would be not to exceed $15,000. So it was passed, and that's the route that they went.
How many computers are there?
I believe there's one, and then there's some, satellite units that will connect to it. And I couldn't tell you how many.
You mean a server?
It's going to have one server, yes.
Right, but how many? But they all have to be changed too, right?
Well, not necessarily. They don't necessarily have to be changed. I don't know if they will be changed.
Oh, I thought it was end-to-end.
No.
No, it's not.
But I want to say this quickly, that the contract, as far as maintenance, does not have anything to do with the software for the pilot units.
I was just going to say, it sounded like $15,000 was cheap if you were going end-to-end.
Yeah, that would be the server. Good question. Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.
Hey Leonard, you're watching OCTV.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we were talking about Addison Township board meeting that they had. And they just approved a computer, which is good, a server. And the next thing they talked about was the final site plan for Upland Hills School. I don't know if you recall, quite a while back, almost a year ago, we talked about they wanting to put in 2 kitchens in that area. Remember? And they had a problem with the septic field because they didn't have enough room at that time, they thought. Well, it was all laid out now differently according to the Planning Commission, which this Planning Commission has been dealing with this for about a year or so, if not longer, trying to resolve the issues so the school could go forward with this. Finally, everything is laid down the way it should be, and Oakland County is pretty much in agreement in the way it should be run, except the permits haven't been pulled yet. Okay? So as soon as they pull the permits, this board said, as long as the permits are available, and once they're up to par, then they can proceed with this as far as the township is concerned. And the county is ready, they're ready. So looks like you're going to get your kitchens eventually, folks.
Are they planning an expansion, or?
Well, they're like modular units that they're putting in, and 2 of them.
Okay.
And they're for lunches, hot lunches.
Okay.
Right now they don't have a hot lunch program. So for those school kids over there, that'll work real good for them. Get hot lunches finally.
Yeah.
They're saying yippee-yay.
Cumberland Farms is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Have you been there?
Several years ago, but I hear that they've expanded into energy conservation and things like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting school. You're right.
Yeah.
The first process, I think, is to become a student is you have to learn how to hug a tree really good.
I see. When I was there, there was a bunch of little piglets, and someone picked up one of those little things. I've never heard anything scream so loud in my life.
They want their mama. Little mommy pig, yeah. You're right. But anyway, it's an interesting school, and it's been growing, for them. As I say, very popular. So anyway, so it looks like they're going to have a hot lunch program coming down the line. Let me see what else is going on. Septic field was approved for them. Fire department, Jerry Morowski was there, and he wanted to report that a new truck is going to be purchased. The original cost is $466,000.
Whoa, that's not a Jeep.
Oh, no. But they've teamed up with Rochester Fire Department in order to get a break on this. And the company they're working with is Halt Pierce Company. And they can get it for less money if they can get a discount, for $22,000 discount if they pay the money up front in full. Upfront in full.
Have they got that?
That's a word. Huh?
Have they got that kind of cash?
They do.
Oh.
And he's got it in his budget, so that's the route that they're going to take, and Pauline Bennett made the motion to do that.
Saves a buck here and there.
It does. Oh, more than a buck. $22,000 worth of bucks. SAD for Indian Lake, for Oakland Township and Addison Township.
Wasn't Indian Lake the place you could take your little ones?
That's it. This is an interlocal agreement that they agreed on, for that area, SAD. Public, anything from the public? Well, I had one guy stand up and he said, "Hey, we have potholes out here." The county needs to know that you can't just grade down the middle of this thing. You got to fill in, the holes before you do anything. So anyway, interesting enough, the township supervisor, he says, I know. He said, I've talked to the county, he said several times about this, but what they say is, look, we're in the road business. We know what we're doing. And so unless you want to be in the road business, something along that line. So
is that equivalent to, are you telling me how to do my job?
That's pretty much it, I think. Okay. So anyway, so that was pretty well settled. Let me see. I want to mention here that in Addison Township, Pauline Bennett was elected to the Michigan Township Association, which is a big association in the state of Michigan, very politically active. And she was elected to it. And not only that, she was appointed to the executive board.
Oh.
And this is statewide, so it's a very good accomplishment for Pauline Bennett. You folks are very fortunate to have somebody in that position. And Bruce Pearson's mother, I want to mention, just passed away. So you folks see Bruce, he's on vacation right now, but when he gets back, make sure you share your condolences with Bruce. That takes care of Addison Township. Now we're going to hit very quickly on Pollyann Trail Council. They had their meeting April 19th. Mike McDonald is the chairperson. Curtis Wright from the Township, Oxford, serves on that board, as well as Donnie Steele, who's the treasurer, and she's from Lake Orion, Orion Township. And Bruce Pearson serves on that board from Addison. Eric Sent from Addison. Ron Slowinski and Kevin Green, who's a resident. And he serves on as a resident just to see what's,
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, you have the trail manager, Linda Moran. And she, by the way, she's doing a great job out there. If you folks get a chance, you can catch all of this on OCCTV.org, and just click on programs, and you'll see the Pollyann Trail, all the other meetings that we're talking about right here, right?
That's right.
And so the meeting, they did the pledge, of course, and trail manager gave a report which was pretty extensive. First thing they talked about was goats, and everything's going fine with the goats, and it seemed to be eating everything in sight.
They not only eat the grass and the weeds, they actually can eat poisonous plants like poison ivy and sumac.
Yummy.
And little trees that are getting in the way.
Little trees that get in the way, yes. All those things. And then there's the subject of trash cans. They want to get new trash cans, and they're in the tune of about $430 each. Each. They're not the typical mother's trash can. This is one that they're very well built, and they're all built in the USA, too, by the way.
They have a 300-pound steel plate in the bottom so no one runs off with them?
Well, they have little things that you can nail to the ground, I guess.
See.
That's the way that works. And there's a lot of other different issues that we covered, with the Pollyann Trail. And we'll do that next time when we come back. But what's coming up?
Well, we do have some meetings. On 4/25 at 6:30, the Oxford Board of Education is meeting at the high school, and I believe they're going to be looking at awards for arts, athletics, and academic achievement. And
one of those.
Yeah, I had a hard time saying that. On 4/27 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Planning Commission. And on May 1st at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford's ZBA. And once again, check to see if it's actually going to have a meeting, because it gets canceled a lot. On May 2nd at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Planning Commission. And that's all she wrote.
That's all right. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kinney.
We'll catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
See you then.